Have you ever watched a Disney movie with subtitles and no sound? Most of you would probably say no, because the music that plays in the background is just as important as the acting that takes place on screen. One of the instruments that plays some of our favorite Disney scenes is the trumpet. I started playing trumpet in 7th grade. I played all throughout middle school and high school. I even played into my freshman year of college here at Missouri State in the Pride Band. In order to start learning the basics of how to play a trumpet, though, we need to learn how to play just on the mouthpiece alone. And in order to start these, we need to understand some of the terms associated with playing on the trumpet. We're going to start with embouchure. Embouchure is the position in which your lips are placed on your mouthpiece. So this is the first step. We want to have a good O formation, which you can act like you're blowing bubbles, and you'll get that O formation that you want. You want your lips to be tensed and controlled while they're in the embouchure. And in the mouthpiece, once we establish a good embouchure, we can start buzzing. Buzzing is a continuous spitting action out of the mouthpiece. It kind of sounds like this. It feels a little ridiculous, but every beginner trumpet starts doing that. And then in the mouthpiece, it sounds like this. You want your sound to be solid and consistent. Buzzing can be affected by the placement that your lips are in the mouthpiece. If you have too much bottom lip or top lip in the mouthpiece, it can throw off your airflow. So you want it to be centered. Your lips can be either wet or dry. Neither is incorrect. It just depends on which style of music you're playing. But since we're just beginners here, we're going to start with just damp lips. Just wet your lips like this right before you put your mouthpiece on. And then after you establish a good relationship between your lips and the mouthpiece, then you can move on to getting a good airflow through the mouthpiece. The airflow can be affected by speed. A faster speed produces a louder sound and often higher notes, and then lower speed often produces a lower volume and then lower range of notes. And then your airflow can be affected by the depth of your breath. You want your breathing to go all the way down to the bottom of your lungs so you can produce a full breath of air that supports a long note. You don't want your breathing to be shallow because you'll have to take breaks and breaths in between a lot more notes, and you don't want that. You want to keep going through as many notes as you can without taking breaths. And then another aspect of airflow is tonguing. Tonguing is the stopping of airflow in between notes, like this. So you want this action to be precise. You just take the tip of your tongue and place it over the whole of the mouthpiece. You don't want to use a lot of your tongue. You don't want it to be sloppy, just precise and rapid to stop the airflow. And then after you can establish a good airflow, you can work on the posture of your body and your hands. In order to establish a good posture in your hands, though, you need to understand the parts of a trumpet. So the parts of a trumpet, we'll start off with the mouthpiece. You guys already know that. You put the mouthpiece in the lead pipe right here. The lead pipe goes around to the valves. This is the first, second, and third valve. These are the valve keys right here. And then right here we have the first valve slide and the third valve slide over here on this end. Right here, sorry. And then right here we have the hook where your pinky rests on the lead pipe. And this all leads down to the bell. So you want to know the placement of your left and right hand. On your left hand, you always hold the weight of your horn in your left hand, not your right. Your right just rests. So you want to put your thumb around the hook of the first valve slide. Right here. Right there. And then you wrap around your first and second fingers around the third valve, and then you put your ring finger in the loop on the third valve slide, and the ring finger rests on the third valve slide. Your right hand, you want to put your first 3 fingers on the first 3 valves. You don't want to rest the pads of your fingers on the valves because you can push down on the keys diagonally and it'll stop them from coming up as quickly as you want them to. So always press down with the tips of your fingers. And you place your thumb in between the first and second valves. You rest your pinky on the hook on the lead pipe. You don't ever support it because you can push too much weight, too much pressure back into your mouth, and that'll affect your airflow negatively as well. So once we establish a good posture in your hands, you can do that in your body as well. Whenever you're sitting on the edge of a chair, or sitting in a chair, you always want to sit on the edge of your chair. You never want to lean back or slouch. You want to keep your shoulders back, and then you want to keep your chin up. You don't ever want to play down here because the airflow doesn't go from the bottom of your lungs out of the horn in a good manner. So you always want to have your posture up like this. as you can see, learning how to play the trumpet is a very complex process. So it's just a balance between embouchure, airflow, and posture. So once you establish these basic skills, you can learn how to read sheet music and move your keys accordingly to change different notes. You can learn this through scales like this. Just like that. I pressed down diagonally just like that, so that's why the sound was stopped. But anyway, I'm an example that proves learning how to play the trumpet is a continuous process. Over a long period of time, it just takes practice. The only way to improve is to practice every day. Your lips are a muscle just like your arms or legs, so if you keep working them out, you're going to improve and get more talented. Eventually, you can end up like me and be a member of a symphony that plays a record in a Disney track. So yeah, and here's my card. I think it's backwards, but